Thinking of moving to Delaware? Well, the chances are you aren't the only one. Rocket Mortgage just rated Delaware as the #1 state to retire in 2024. Wallet Hub rated Delaware #4 overall as best state to retire in 2024. And according to worldpopulationreview.com, Delaware has the 5th fastest growing population since 2020. Which begs the question, why is everyone moving to Delaware? Well, in this video, I'll go over some of the top reasons why people are choosing to move to Delaware. And after watching, you'll be able to decide whether or not you want to add to Delaware's population as well. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Brandon Windom. I help people buy and sell homes here in Delaware. I'm a lifelong Delaware native. And on this channel, I talk about what it's like living here in Delaware. And if you're thinking about buying or selling here in Delaware, I'd love to have a conversation to see if it made sense for us to work together. So I'll put my info on screen now and again in the description below. Now, I've helped quite a few people move here to Delaware, and I'm always curious as to why they decide to make Delaware their home. So I ask, and these are some of the most common responses I get. So the first one is home availability. Now, I know some people that are local to Delaware or maybe just bought a home, maybe looking at me sideways saying, no, it ain't affordable. Now, hold on, let me explain. So from the eyes of a local, yes, Delaware may not seem that affordable when it comes to purchasing a home. But when you compare Delaware to most of our neighboring states, it makes a lot of sense. So let's do that. Let's take New York, for example. The average median home price in New York right now is $785,000. In New Jersey, it's $500,000. In Maryland, it's $415,000. And in DC, it's $626,000, and I could keep going. So now you may be wondering, what is the median sale price for homes here in Delaware? And as of right now, it's right at $350,000. So it's significantly less than our neighboring state. And with the rise of teleworking and us being so close to our neighboring states, it makes that decision to buy here in Delaware so much easier to make. The next thing I hear a lot is tax benefits. So the first tax benefit I'm going to talk about actually ties into home affordability, and that's property tax. Because a lot of times people only look at the actual home purchase price, which doesn't really give the whole picture when buying a home. Now, stick with me real quick. I'm going to give you a quick lesson on mortgages. So your mortgage payment is typically made of 4 things. So principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, or PITI for short. You can think of Mr. T. Remember, I pity the fool who don't know about mortgages. So while some homes may cost less, at least the purchase price, you have to take things like property taxes into account. So let's take everyone's favorite state when it comes to affordability, and that's Texas. Now, that huge home in Texas may only cost you $300,000, but the effective tax rate in Texas is 1.62%. So what that means is that your property taxes are going to be around $5,000 a year, which is going to run you about an additional $400 a month. Now, when you try to buy that same house here in Delaware, it may cost you $330,000, but the effective tax rate here in Delaware is only 0.61%. So that would bring those property taxes right around $2,000 a year, which is more than 50% less than in Texas. So you definitely got to pay attention to that when comparing homes, because you need the whole picture. Another tax benefit we have here in Delaware is that we don't have tax. Well, sales tax, that is. Yup, that's right. Whatever the tag says on the shelf, that's what you'll pay. No surprises at the register here. And if you're of retirement age, Delaware doesn't tax Social Security benefits. And I believe they actually give some type of tax exemption, 401k or retirement income, if you're over the age of 60. Also, all types of other tax breaks here as well, such as we don't have inheritance tax. So all that money that you work so hard for to pass down to the next generation won't be taxed. But again, just a quick disclosure, I'm a realtor, not a CPA. You're definitely going to want to double check with them, because you definitely don't want to get on the wrong side of the IRS, because we all know those people don't play. Another reason I hear constantly is the cost of living. Now, it's not actually what you think. When I say cost of living, I'm not talking about the financial costs. I'm talking about those invisible things, such as the mental cost, the stress, the irritability, the anxiety, things like that. I can't tell you how many times I've helped people that move from bigger cities or states, and when I asked them why, they said that they just needed a change of pace. It just always felt like they were in fight or flight mode. And if you're someone like that, Delaware is definitely going to be a breath of fresh air for you. The overall feel of Delaware is just like one big suburban town. People aren't going to try to run you off the road just to get to where they're going. For the most part, if you were to break down or catch a flat, chances are the local law enforcement or just a good Samaritan would come by to help you just to lend a helping hand. And I know this firsthand because it actually happened to my mom last week when she caught a flat. Someone came over and saw she needed some help and helped her out. Delaware, for the most part, tends to be very laid back, and we don't really move at a breakneck speed. The best way to explain it, I guess, is kind of like Goldilocks when she found Baby Bear's bed. It was just right. Brandon, tell me you have kids without telling me you have kids. Am I right? But since I already did mention it, let's talk about it. The actual cost of living, the financial costs. And I won't make this very long. It'll be very short. So the best way to do this is just to look at the cost of living index. Now, the cost of living index is just the price it would cost for the basic necessities such as shelter, food, transportation, and healthcare. And the US baseline is 100. So for Delaware, our cost of living index is 102. But let's just get a little bit more perspective when it comes to that. Let's look at some of our surrounding states. So the cost of living index for New York is 125, New Jersey is 114, Maryland is 119, and DC is 148. But one that actually surprised me was actually Pennsylvania, and they were actually lower than the 100 average, and they were sitting right at 99. So that was a little unexpected. Another big factor I hear why people decide to move here to Delaware are the beaches and nature. And I'm glad I put this in here because I think it is actually illegal to do a video about Delaware and not mention the beaches. They are a huge deal and a big drawing point when it comes to Delaware. People often say to me that they came down to visit our beaches, and when they got here, they just loved it so much and they decided that they didn't want to leave. I mean, Rehoboth Beach's nickname is the nation's summer capital. Needless to say, Delaware takes its beaches very seriously, and it shows. Delaware beaches are always rated very high when it comes to cleanliness and water quality. With over 380 miles of coastline, there's plenty of opportunities to hit the water all over Delaware. Whether it's in some of our most notable beaches, such as Rehoboth, Bethany, Dewey, or Lewis, or some of our little hidden gems, such as Broadkill Beach, Pickering Beach, or Slaughter Beach, chances are there's going to be a beach close to you that you're going to be able to enjoy. Also, Delaware makes it a priority to protect open spaces and nature for everyone to enjoy in Delaware. Delaware Parks and Recreations have over 20,000 acres of nature and open protected space. And even just most of the local towns and cities have a ton of open spaces and nature. I mean, it's not uncommon to see maybe a deer or a duck or maybe even a bear. We actually had one of those a couple years ago. It was actually a huge deal. But yeah, man, you gotta expect the unexpected. Speaking of expectations, I actually did a video on what to expect when moving here to Delaware, and you can watch that video right here.